If you want to win at the game of real estate, then you're going to have to figure out how the whole banking game works, because it can appear to be such a complicated mess. And frankly, some banks are better than others. And so today's video is all about what are the best banks that you should be leveraging for your personal and investment needs, and how do you navigate the tricky waters.
'Cause we're gonna be legends. What we're doing here ain't just scary. It's about to be legendary.
So I'm joined here today by Brent. How are you doing, Brent?
Doing well.
Dude, thank you for being
thank
here.
You. Thank you.
Brent's one of my real estate partners. We buy homes together. We're involved on other investments and projects. And he's also a member of my mastermind. He and his wife are amazing human beings. And it's been really great the last few years, really getting to know each other a lot deeper. And we've got something exciting happening in like the next 24 to 72 hours. What's going on?
Yes. So I've got another investment house that is going to finally close. So
Right? It's a process every time, isn't it?
It's a process, yes.
You know, and I was talking to Diane a couple days ago. She says, "Oh, Kris, sorry that Brent has had to like walk on out a couple of times during the retreat. The banks just keep asking for more documents, and then he's got to go and get it and supply it."
Yep.
And I'm like, "Well, great. I'm making a video about that. Might as well come on down to the office and actually share the real world experience of what goes down."
Yep.
Now, for you've got a great job.
Yeah.
You've got great credit.
Yeah.
And yet, do you consider the whole banking process, like, would you classify it as easy and fun? Or how would you actually like classify what it's like to work with banks and underwriting to like supply everything that they request?
Well, this last one, the underwriter just wanted a lot more detail. I mean, I've had 20 or so documents I've pulled up for the previous deals I've done. This one asked for about another 5 or 10, which if I'm out on travel, I don't have them with me, so.
It's a little bit of a pain, right?
It's a bit of a pain.
Yeah. I think one of the nights you actually drove home to go gather some stuff. And
that's right.
Got home super late.
That's right.
But you were there back in the morning, which was awesome.
I was there back in the morning.
Listen, you've always had a great, even-keeled, personality about the whole thing. The reality is there's a lot of people that get irate. Have you ever been frustrated sometimes at like what the banks are really requesting and asking for?
Well, this was about a series of 5 things. Okay, let's get this next thing. Then let's get this next. I thought, okay, what are they going to come up with now?
They're going to fund 80% of the loan. We're
Yeah.
coming up with 20%.
Yes.
So the bank wants to know at the end of the day, hey, are you credit worthy?
Yes.
And all banks have something called underwriting. So when you meet with the loan officer originally, if they're really knowledgeable, they'll request a whole bunch of documents. Things like your wage income, pay stubs, they're gonna run your credit, they wanna look at your bank accounts, make sure they know where money is. And there's some people like me that hate paperwork, so it's not my favorite thing to go track all that stuff down. That's typical. But then it goes to an underwriter, and this is the person that says, I actually represent the bank, and now I have to look at everyone's unique circumstances, and I gotta like dig in and ask questions, and this is where they can ask for, well, now give me this. Well, now give me this. Well, now give me this. Well, what about this? And what they're really looking for are plot holes in the story. They're looking for maybe deceit, or they're looking for explanation for things that don't make sense to them. And bottom line is, if we don't play by the rules, we don't get a loan.
That's right.
This last one, was it kind of strange after like, we've been buying properties back to back to back this last year.
Yes.
Now getting the third one, why do you think they were asking for a whole lot more detail?
I have no idea. I think it may be the personality of this underwriter just said, I want this and this and this.
It's
and
weird.
They see a document, okay, this text is missing. So you have to go to the bank and have them create a special form that has that text on it.
Yes.
And then they're happy.
And they want everything signed.
Oh, yeah.
Something's notarized.
Yeah.
Some of you might be wondering, it's like, is this how it is with all banks? And this is the secret I want you to understand, because you're wondering, are there better banks than others? The reality is they're more or less all the same. They kind of operate all under the same kind of way of being. Some are going to ask for way more detail than others. But that's just what banking looks like. And it can get irritating. It can get frustrating. Brent's really good at not allowing that to really get under his skin, which is super awesome. And I know there's some people that get so irritated, they get so angry about the way that it is. But if you don't play by the rules, you don't get their money. And so today's video is really more about understanding proper expectations. If someone, Brent, is watching this video and they're about to enter the loan process, and let's just say they sat down with the loan officer that was hungry for a loan officer's commission if the deal goes through. So they kind of paint a picture of Easy Street. Oh, I'm going to ask for a couple of things. We'll have this thing done in no time. It'll be great. What expectation correction might you suggest based on reality?
I think I'd want to know what's the most documents they could ask for, and go ahead and have those ready.
Yes.
So they're ready to send off. In fact, in my case, I was out on travel a couple times when they asked for them, and okay, how do you go get it?
Yes.
So yeah, if I had to do it over again, I would have put all of those documents on a cloud drive where I'm on travel. I can still get them, I can sign them, I can do everything.
Yep.
Plus, I'd want the ability to sign documents on the fly rather than have to print them out, scan them, and send them off again.
You know, I have to tell you, like there's an app like Sign Now that I love using.
Yep.
Because it's like, I can take a picture, I can sign it on my phone, I can send it off. No printer, no scanner.
That's right.
It's a lot more convenient.
That's right.
How many times do you think an underwriter can come back and keep asking for stuff though?
Well, this kind of time they came back about 6 or 7 times.
Which is a lot, guys. I'm telling you, like requesting a new updated set of requests 6 or 7 times. That's a lot. That's a ton.
That is way more than I expected.
And if you can survive that, then you can probably survive most of banking.
That's right. Yeah.
Guys, listen, this is a book that I wrote years ago. This is one of my books. It's all about how to navigate real estate successfully. In it, I talk about everything you need to know about lending from A to Z, how to work with a loan officer, how to pick the right loan officer. And I'm going to give you just a tip right now. By the way, you can get this book for free. Just click the link below and cover the shipping. And my team, technically my daughter, will physically put that in the mail and send it out to you. But let me share with you, I think, the best advice from this book. It's not about what the best bank is. I actually think that it comes down to the most experienced loan officer. And what I mean by that is, first of all, understand that investment lending and lending for a primary residence, like your own house, those are like 2 different fields of study, right? One's botany, one's geology. So don't think that investment lending and buying your primary residence is the same type of lending, because actually, you'd think they're the same, but they're not. The guidelines are different, the banks are different, things are different. If you're doing investment loans because you're a real estate investor, you should be finding a loan officer who is currently closing a dozen deals a month. That means they are a high volume loan officer and they know how all the banks they work with are changing. Also, don't work with the bank. You want to work with a loan officer which actually has loyalty to no specific bank and it can actually work with several different banks. Why? Because they become familiar with which banks have better programs than others. And if your situation shifts a little bit, then they have additional options that a singular bank may not have. So really you're looking for someone that originates loans, works with multiple banks, is doing at least a dozen a month. And if you have that, then you're gonna have someone knowledgeable enough that when the bank starts squawking, they can shoot straight and say, I'm telling you this bank is not going to come through. We need to shop with a different bank. I don't want you to risk not getting the deal. So that's something that's important to me. I found a long time ago is that you want to work with a loan officer that can broker out to several banks and one that is experienced enough based on doing enough volume that they are relevant to today's market.
Yes.
And that's who you are working with, which is why we're navigating some tricky waters and working with some funny, screwy underwriters.
Yep. No, just wanted more detail.
Yeah, exactly. Brent, anyone else that's actually considering partnering, getting into real estate, getting involved with what it is we do here? You know, what's your experience been like?
My experience is that you guys have the answers. If you need advice, you've got it. And a lot of it's the mindset. And you guys have the mindset and the mindset training.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much for being here today, Brent. And for the rest of you guys, get your copy of this book for free. It's in the link below. Make sure you do subscribe, ring the bell, and we'll notify you every day when a brand new video comes out. In fact, we got one coming up next right here that the internet thinks you're going to love.